The boy suddenly discovers in horror that the person in front of him is a monster. Terrified, he runs away as fast as he can, but to his mother, the figure appears as just an ordinary man. Watching the boy's retreating figure, Jess is surprised. It's rare to find someone who can see through his disguise, one in a million. Jess is an alien in hiding on Earth. To avoid blowing his cover, Jess decides to have a life talk with the boy. So, taking advantage of the night, he sneaks into the boy's room, intending to smother him. Unexpectedly, the boy wakes up and bites Jess. In pain, Jess grimaces, and the boy screams in alarm. The scream attracts the parents, and Jess quickly hides under the boy's bed. The mother asks what happened, and the boy says there's an alien under his bed. The parents don't believe him, blaming his nightmare on watching too many sci-fi movies, and they carry him away. This encounter is a communication failure for Jess. Unexpectedly, they meet again the next day. Jess is now a psychologist in the town. The boy's parents, worried about their son's nightmares, ask Jess for psychological counseling. Jess kindly asks the boy to keep his secret, threatening to saw off his head otherwise. The boy, terrified by Jess, breaks a window and runs all the way to the police station, reporting Jess as an alien. The chief, of course, doesn't believe the child's wild story and wants to lock him up. The female assistant, finding the chief too harsh, comforts the boy, asking him to draw what the alien looks like. Unexpectedly, the boy not only draws it but also turns the drawing into posters and puts them up everywhere. Jess is furious when he sees this. It seems the boy won't stop until he exposes Jess, so Jess decides to make the boy disappear without drawing the townspeople's attention. Jess thinks of many ways, causing a gas leak to blow up the boy's house or creating a high-altitude object drop, but he rejects these ideas and chooses a simpler method, cutting the brake lines of the boy's bicycle. As expected, Jess receives good news the next day. The boy had an accident, but didn't die, only breaking his arm. Now the boy comes to Jess for stitches. Jess is disappointed. After sending others away, he begins to warn the boy to stop exposing him or he won't administer anesthesia. Unexpectedly, the boy outright refuses. Unyielding, Jess, no longer hesitating, begins stitching the boy's wound.
How is it, Max?
It's fine. Is there a mosquito in here? Because I think I just got a tiny bite on my arm.
Jess is even angrier. While others aren't looking, he presses hard on the boy's wound. The boy's face contorts with pain, but he remains defiant, mocking Jess as weak. On leaving, he even taunts Jess. Back home, Jess feels he's no match for the boy. His plan to secretly destroy Earth will eventually be discovered. He thinks about leaving, but the thought of being outplayed by a human child, as an alien, is a disgrace. So, he stays. The boy doesn't give up on exposing Jess either. He begins to follow Jess constantly, but his parents mistake this for liking Jess and invite him over for dinner. The boy is very angry, but the next day, when Jess enters, he warmly hugs Jess. Not only that, he insists on performing a show for Jess. This is all part of the boy's plan, to keep Jess occupied while his friend Nami steals the keys from Jess's car. The boy is convinced there's evidence of Jess being an alien in his house. Nami successfully gets the keys, has them all copied by a locksmith, and puts them back before Jess leaves the boy's house, with Jess noticing nothing unusual. The next day, when Jess goes to work, the boy and his friend immediately head to Jess's house. They start rummaging through everything and finally, in a basement, they make a discovery. An apple is eerily floating above a black metal surface. When the friend reaches out to touch it, they are both struck by a mysterious force and knocked unconscious. That evening, when Jess returns home and sees this scene, he instantly understands what happened. Finding them just unconscious, he doesn't hesitate to put them in a sack, planning to bury them in a pit in the back mountain. But as he's leaving the basement with the bag, he discovers a woman has entered the house.